Dumelang guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Reneilwe. Sehlake, also go by the name Rainy. So yes, your girl forgot to record an intro and outro for this video. So this is just a random shot of me shopping for the DIY items we'll be getting into in this video. We are bringing affordable home decor for the festive season that can also translate into usual and normal home decor throughout the year. Let us get into this video. Starting off with the scatter cushions as our first DIY. I have DIY'd these scatter cushions a couple of times, but I've never showed you guys on my channel, so I'm going to show you guys how I DIY these cushions. So in certain sections I will show you guys the after before we go into the DIY, just so you can know what you're getting yourselves into. Hopefully it hypes you guys enough, so let me know how you feel about this. I'm starting off with showing guys a clip or a small little explanation of how things are going to be done. So we're going to start off by cutting our fabric into a rectangle, and then we are going to sew the seams on either end of the rectangle. Then we're going to fold it into a square, but overlapping it by 8 centimeters. In the beginning we made it 8 centimeters, but later on, after the first DIY cushion, I realized that I need to make the overlap 12 centimeters, and I'll show you why. So I cut my fabric just like I showed you guys in those little clips of my explanation, because I feel like that helps me explain things better than when I'm just DIYing and trying to explain and struggling to point things out to you guys. So yeah, this is basically me doing everything that I explained in those little diagrams, rather, let's call them that for the sake of this video. But you can always revert back to that, screenshot that, so you guys can DIY this easily. And this concept makes it easier if you are not a professional seamstress like I am not. I'm not a professional at this at all, so I can't add a zipper to save my life. I cannot add buttons. I mean, I'm sure maybe I can be able to add a button, but to create that little hole where the button should go, to avoid all of that, this is simple and you use less tools. It's just your sewing machine, or you can use fabric glue, or you can hand sew this. So there are many ways you can go about this DIY, but anyways, this is a way or a method to avoid sewing a lot of things like a zipper and buttons, and also sewing the sides endlessly. So basically, this is a simple way I find to create scatter cushions with the little knowledge that I have about sewing. Now that I've pinned down my scatter cushion and I've overlapped my fabric, make sure that you also pin down where your fabric overlaps, otherwise it tends to move if you're using a sewing machine, or even if you're hand sewing. I feel like that section will move. So we are now sealing the sides, and then once we are done sewing, we're basically done with our scatter cushions. We're going to get the pins out just so we're safe, and then we're going to turn this inside out, and then we're going to fit our cushion in, and we are basically done. Easy as that. And what I notice is, even with this method, your corners can be real corners. Sometimes when you sew, you don't get real corners, but it did work out in our in our situation. So I fit in the scatter cushion. So yes, I made my cushion. My cushion is 45 centimeters, and I made the cover 5 centimeters less so that it can seam and look fuller like it does here. So basically, ta-da, we are done. The reason why I ended up increasing the overlap from 8 centimeters to 12 centimeters, because you see when I flip it backwards, you see the inside, and we don't want that. So make sure you use the next calculations that I'm going to give you, which is going to give you the 12 centimeter overlap, and then you won't be able to see the inside of your cushion once it's faced the other way. So we made different colors, so I'm not gonna go, it's rinse and repeat at this point in time. So we made the patterns, and then we made the green. I love this green, guys, it looks so good. And then I'm sure you saw in the after shot where there was a cushion where the material was mixed. It was a green mixed with the the patterned fabric. So that is simple. It's the same logic you're using to sew this cushion that I've shared with you. The only difference is in the rectangle, you're going to make half. Sorry about that. The only difference is that in the rectangle, you're going to make half of the rectangle the one fabric and the other half the other. Then you connect the fabric. So I'm just pinning the fabrics down. Basically the outside must face each other, so you basically have the inside out while you're sewing. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the inside of the cushion. So sew those pieces together, and then the rest is the same method that we use to DIY our cushions. The only difference is now we're adding more detail and it looks like this. Moving right along to the next DIY, our DIY number 2, it's vase decor. With this one, I'm going to show you the before we can get to the after, because guys, this was a bit challenging. So I bought 37,000 clear, what is this called again? Clear water beads, and then I bubble bathed my faux florals that I got from Shein, because they come with this scent I don't like, so I just bubble bath them to get rid of it in warm water, and then we're good to go. So the idea of this is to have my ornaments look like they're floating inside a vase. So yeah, the idea was great. Execution struggled because the ornaments would keep floating. I kept pushing them down, but the bubbles kept pulling them up. So I don't know. But what is weird is the ornaments that I got from Crazy Store, they would be able to sink. But the ones from Woolworths, the ones from Mr. Price Home, they just refused to sink. They just kept coming up, and I kept pushing them down. And eventually, when I thought I got a hang of it and I managed to get them down, like as soon as I put an ornament, I'll throw the water beads on top to weigh it down immediately. And yeah, I thought this was going well, but spoiler alert, when we added the water, the bubbles came up. And my guys, my floor was filled with these water beads. Like, they were everywhere, because I really underestimated 37,000 water beads, because I like they come so small. So I thought there's no way that these things are gonna grow that big, and I ended up filling 3 vases, and I ran out of ideas of what to do with them at this point in time. But yeah, that is what happened when I added the water. It started coming up, the water beads were going all over the place. I tried to push them down, but it wasn't helping at all. But yeah, eventually we're just gonna add the branches to the faux floral to help the ornaments stay in place, and basically lock them in with the little stems that go, like, not the little, with the stems that go in. It's what's gonna keep it in place. I tried to use a skewer stick just to push them down. It worked for a little bit, but they'll slowly make their way up. And whenever I added another ornament, as soon as I pulled out my hand, they were coming up all over again. So if you guys have done this before, or if you guys know a better way that I could have executed this, comment down below. I'd really like to hear your comments. And if you are in tune and you're watching this video and you're interested, we do anything creative, home living, DIYs, makeovers, renovations, you name it, on my channel. Meal preps, you know, what am I doing again? Living alone diaries. Yes, that's what I'm doing. It's a new thing on my channel where I'm figuring out how to live by myself for the first time in my entire life. So if you're interested in anything like that, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because then my content is dedicated to you. So moving right along, added the branches, and guys, it was coming together. I was pushing the ornaments down with the branches just so I can get them in place. But anyways, after all this struggle, I ended up doing this twice. So I did it in a different vase where I can put in candles instead of the branches. And then in this vase, I'm using these cherry blossoms that I got from Shein. They look so beautiful and realistic. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, I don't want to commit and cut off the stems, because you never know, I might get a bigger vase and I might need the stems longer. But this is what it looks like. In our next DIY, we'll be making use of ribbons. So there's many ways you can make use of ribbons that will, you know, fall into the festive kind of theme and decoration. You can add it on your trees, on your books, in many items basically. So it's very simple. This is me playing too much, waving at myself through the ornament, but let us get into this DIY. This DIY doesn't take more than 5 minutes. You can just grab any books that you have in the house, including your coffee table books, and just wrap ribbon around them. That's the best way to make them feel part of the festive season without having to actually change up and look for other items. This can also add into your decorative items by simply buying a ribbon and wrapping it around books that you already have on hand. You're saving a lot of money. You know me, I'm all about not breaking the bank, but still making your house look luxurious and feel as best as it should feel for you. And once that is done, you can just place your books wherever you want. And another thing you can do is you can wrap your frames with these ribbons as well. And in my opinion, a velvet ribbon does it. Like, it just amps up and hypes up any form of deco. So we'll be adding our velvet ribbons on our Christmas tree. This has been going on for, I won't say many years, but as of late, it has been going on. Like, it's the best way to decorate your tree besides using ornaments. Just adding ribbons on your tree, this is the best way to even make your tree look and feel luxurious. And with me, I'm going for the minimalistic style for my tree, and this just plays well into that. So just tie a bow around one of the branches here and there, and then you're good to go. And basically, it's a simple way of decorating your home using ribbons. Who thought? Comment down below if this is the best idea ever. But anyways, moving on to the next DIY, DIYing our Christmas trees. So I went to P&A, like you saw, and I got colored paper. This is the best way you can decorate your home. If you have a specific color hue you're going for your decor, you can go with a different color paper that will fit in very well. So you place you basically anchor your rope at the corner of the paper, and then you use your pen to mark off the I can't say it's a semicircle, but it's basically self-explanatory when you watch it. And then you're gonna roll using the bottom. Like, the more you roll the bottom, the top will roll itself inwards. Then you're gonna place it in place with tape. I would suggest you tape vertically instead of horizontally, because we're gonna have to find a way to cover the tape, and we're gonna be using, you guessed it, ribbon. So I basically made different sizes of the trees, which is very good because height can help you, make a place look fuller, and it gives your eyes a place to look over when it's going over your decorations. Like, your eyes have some place to land basically and move around the deco. That's what we're going for. So now we are trying to cover the sellotape using ribbon, which is velvet, but brown velvet. Yes, like, this looks so good. I loved this. Out of all the trees that I created, this is my favorite one that I created, and it's basically the one that I show you the most. The others were a bit touch and go, but yet again, it's how you work it. This is more of an arts and crafty kind of feel, so you can get your children involved, you can get your family involved if you want, and you guys can make mini little Christmas trees. And by the way, guys, make sure you don't burn yourself. I burned myself. So yeah, my little finger got burnt by this because I kept trying to, place the fabric in place, and then at some point in time, like, the hot glue would ooze out, and then I'll try and remove it with my finger because I think I'm superwoman some way somehow, and I'll burn myself. So make sure that you don't burn yourself when doing this. You can always use different kind of glue, but I just like how fast hot glue is. So this is me wrapping a different size tree in red velvet. I could have done a better job. So this one, I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10 DIY. It definitely has room for a lot of improvement, but basically this is me just sharing concepts and ideas of how you can DIY your mini little trees without having to spend a lot of money at decorating or at homeware stores just so you can decorate your home. But it's as easy as this to just simply DIY your own Christmas trees without spending a lot of money or breaking the bank. Alright, so moving on to the next DIY, we'll be wrapping boxes. The boxes that you put underneath your tree. They look like this, guys. I used to not like brown wrapping paper, but since brown became the trending color, it's like you can elevate those brown wrapping papers that are very affordable, by the way, at P&A or any other store. If you get those wrapping papers. They're very affordable, and you can always just hype it up and amp it up and give it that luxurious feel by adding a beautiful velvet ribbon. I use different kinds of ribbons to show you guys the kinds of ribbons that can give you different vibes and feels when you're wrapping your boxes. So I just use any random box that I had in the house, including shoe boxes, which is the big box that you saw in the beginning. So you don't need to go out and buy boxes. Like, guys, we need to minimize how much we think we need something new. You know that toxic trait where you're going out somewhere and you're like, oh, I need an outfit. That little toxic mindset that says you need to buy something new if you want to do something. We need to get that out of the way. So simple wrapping paper, ribbon, old boxes, we're good to go. So I'm not the best person to wrap gifts. I think this will give you a huge confidence boost if you're just like me. Simple box wrapping is what you're seeing. We're just cutting the paper to size, wrapping up the bottom, taping that, the sides, folding that to size, taping that, and we are done. And the focal point is mainly the ribbons, how we are gonna wrap ribbons. I'm not the best ribbon tire or whatever the case may be, so I would use the assistance of, you know, Pinterest. You can use the assistance of YouTube. So I won't, you know, even try and explain how to tie a bow or a ribbon. Tie a bow. I think I meant to say a bow. Yes, I'm not going to explain how to tie a bow. I myself needed a lot of assistance, so this is me showing you that as much as I love DIY, there's certain things that I don't know, and I just reach out and get some form of explanation. So moving on to the next DIY, we are going to be DIYing, well, not really DIY, we're going to be creating these little branches, tying them together so that they hang on either side. Then we're going to use a ribbon in the middle just so you can hold it up when we stick it on frames. So the gallery wall that you have in your house, you don't have to take that down and put in Christmas decor or anything. You can make them part of the season or part of the decor through just simply adding these little items onto your frames, and then you're good to go basically. Last but not least, on our DIY, we're going to be DIYing a bead garland. So first things first, I have DIY beads, like DIY beads for decorative reasons or measures or whatever the case may be. I don't even know how to word anything anymore. But basically, I've done it before on my channel. So what you want to do is add tape to the tip of the rope that you're using or thread that you're using, just so you can easily get it through all the beads. That's basically what I'm using. And then you can use it, like, this is where you get to be as creative as you want to be. You can decide the sequence of your beads. You could go 2 smalls, 1 big, or you can go extra small to extra big and then go back to a medium size. This is where you can be as creative as you want to be. The only downside is I wish I had enough beads because I wanted to make 2 garlands. Now my tree kind of looks out of place, but I do love these, like the garland that we created. However, I only could DIY 1. The smaller beads are from Shein. The big ones, I got them from a fabric store, I think 2-3 years ago. And I just took it apart and I recreated it. So once you're done, you knot the ends. Because I used the small beads on either ends, it was easy for me to knot and then the beads not to go over my knot. And basically we're adding this to our tree and we are done with our DIY for today. If you guys enjoyed my video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below which DIY is your favorite, which one would you like to try, maybe more tips that I'd like to hear from you. What are you DIYing for your festive season decorations? And with that being said, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to be kind, love, and light. I'll see you guys in the next video.